My name is Taramanya Samahar. In stem cell therapy, I hope truly to be able to reach out to people in Denmark, sure they know this opportunity exists, this treatment exists.
The beauty of this treatment, there is no surgery, there is no cutting, there are no stitches. So the whole treatment has only 2 needle pricks. It's very, very safe. We have so far treated close to 15,000 patients.
We want to spread this knowledge. We want everybody to know about it. No place for it, Denmark, because the scientific world just says it doesn't work. He tried to stop me from coming to India. Nobody knows about stem cell therapy.
Pharma industry is not supportive of what we do. I've had people from the pharma industry tell me that, Dr. Sharma, you're an existential threat to us. If you make everybody okay, who will take our medicine? Almost every doctor who has a child with autism comes to us for treatment. Doctors come for treatment. One of our most vocal critic, after seeing the improvement, the doctor told the parents, I'm sorry, please let Dr. Sharma know I am sorry, I was wrong. And he actually took my contact number and reached out to apologize. I have been wrong all these years.
And I have seen it with my own eyes that it works because my daughter has gotten treatment from you.
That speaks for itself.
Yes.
We have to let our results speak. We have to let our children's improvement speak.
Thank you so much for this opportunity.
The pleasure is ours.
To gather you, both of you, to ask all the questions relevant for our organization. My name is Taramanya Samahar and I am the chairman of ABST, abst.dk, and which stands for Autistic Children and Stem Cell Therapy. Non-profit organization, and it's not governmental. We are just doing it. We want to spread this knowledge, and we feel like there is no place for it in Denmark because the scientific world just says it doesn't work. And I have seen it with my own eyes that it works because my daughter has gotten treatment from you and she has gone from being with so many symptoms to be symptom free. We want to spread this knowledge. We want everybody to know about it. So that's why me and my husband, we made this non-profit organization. I'm so happy that you want to be part of it and participate in it, so we can ask all the questions we have, so we can help other children to be part of it too and get this treatment. So you have 30 years of experience, more than 30 years of experience with stem cell therapy. And I don't know how many years you have, Dr. Nandi, but I know you are in front and you are many places. I've seen many videos with you. You're also in the field and have been for many years. So I would like to know if you could please tell about your educational background and your medical background so we can inform everybody.
So I'm basically a neurosurgeon.
Yes.
And I've been over the years practicing regular neurosurgery for brain tumors and stroke and spine and all of that. And early on in my career, I realized that when I was doing all this surgery, the one thing that I was not able to do is I was not able to repair the damaged nervous system. So I realized that there is no surgery, there is no cutting or stitching that you can do. There are no drugs that can repair the nervous system once it is damaged. That is when the realization came that the healing of the nervous system will have to be biological. It will have to be cellular. And then that started us out on a journey where we started first studying what is it that results in the nervous system not getting repaired. The world's first procedures for Parkinson's disease using what was that time called fetal cells were done in Sweden, in Karolinska. And so then I went to Karolinska to try to see what they were doing. But by the time I reached Sweden, they had stopped the procedure. And then I found that they were doing these procedures in Colorado, in Denver. And so I went to Denver to try to understand this biological healing. After I learned the technology of what it takes to grow cells and to implant cells, I came back to India, and there over a 10-year period between 1998 and 2008, we actually did a lot of work in the laboratory using different types of cells, cells, embryonic stem cells, olfactory stem cells, autologous. And then over that period, we then realized that the best results were actually coming from autologous. That when you used the same cells from the same animal or human being. So then we started working on patients. Initially we started working with adults. And then we realized that the results in children are actually better. So initially our work was with spinal cord injury, then with children we started working with cerebral palsy and muscular dystrophy, and then we realized that our best results were actually in autism and ADHD, because there the brain damage was such that it was still potentially repairable.
Yes.
So it's been a very long journey of first trying to understand that there was an unmet medical need, then having the vision that conventional treatment of surgery and drugs would not give us the solution, then exploring this new science, going overseas to centers in Sweden and America where this work was being done, doing basic laboratory work, and then starting work in humans and then children. So our work has very strong foundations.
It has.
And all of us who started the work together, Dr. Nandini and myself have been part of setting up Neurogen right from the beginning.
Wow.
So all of us are still together, and with just one vision, one dream, one mission, that to help children and adults whose nervous system, brain and spine is damaged, to be able to repair that damage and to give them that possibility, that chance, the potential to be able to live individual, independent lives.
Yes, exactly. And that actually was what I was hoping for when I start looking at what opportunities there are in the whole world. Because, when you have a child with autistic symptoms, they go through so much suffering and you want to do something about it. And the doctors in Denmark, they told me there is nothing you can do. This is the way it is. So you get some therapy and you get to know how the brain works, and you have to just take it as it is. But I just didn't believe them. I knew there was something out there, and I knew there was something they were not looking at. And so I was so happy to find you.
Thank you.
Yes, there are 2 ways of using stem cell therapy. You have already mentioned them. Will you please clarify all the 3 forms, because they're used in New Mexico, US, Poland, and I have also seen Albania. There are places in the world where they use it. But I would like you to just clarify these 3 forms of stem cell therapy and what is the cons and pros with each stem cell therapy.
So broadly speaking, stem cells are of 2 types, or I would say cell or stem cells are of 2 types. Either you take it from the patient, from the child, and put it back in the child.
Yeah.
This medically is called autologous. Then there's another set where you can get from outside. You get it from a donor. Now this could be another child, it could be another person, and it could also be from the embryo. So like you have, the embryo is when the father's sperm and mother's egg comes together, and it starts growing, and then that is called an embryo. Amongst the donor cells, there either you can get them from the embryo or you can get them from the umbilical cord. The umbilical cord is the cord that connects the mother and baby at birth.
Exactly.
So this is also very rich with stem cells. Embryonic stem cells is very controversial. There are also certain risks involved in that.
Exactly.
So right now in the world, very few people are using it, and we don't use that at all. There's a certain risk of growth that can happen in them,
Yes.
which could be uncontrolled. There's autologous, there's allogenic.
Yes.
Autologous is from self, allogenic is outside.
Exactly.
Allogenic has got 2 parts, embryonic and umbilical. Now embryonic we will not talk about because nobody is using it right now, but umbilical are being used. Now what is the basic difference between the 2? See, we are taking cells from the child, putting it back in the child. This is like taking an orange and squeezing orange juice and giving it to your child.
Yeah.
Umbilical cord is processed. That means it is taken from somebody, it is frozen, a preservative is added, and it is stored. This is like Tropicana. So I ask you a simple question. Would you rather give your child Tropicana orange juice, or would you rather give your child fresh homemade orange juice?
Of course, fresh.
So the treatment we do has no preservatives, it's got no chemicals, it's got nothing dangerous or nothing from the outside. It's fresh. You've seen for your own daughter.
Yes.
We have taken it out, and immediately shortly after that we have put it back. Now the thing about preserved stem cells is that the preservative is potentially harmful, and the name of the preservative for stem cells is something called DMSO, which is harmful to the brain.
Yes.
That is why you cannot inject it into the spinal fluid, because that preservative is dangerous. and that is why that is injected in the blood like an regular injection.
Exactly.
Just like that. Now when you inject it from there, it goes first, it doesn't go to the brain directly, it goes from here to the right side of the heart. The right side of the heart sends it to the lungs. The lungs then send it to the left side of the heart, and the left side of the heart then sends it to the brain. A significant percentage of the cells get trapped in the lungs. So all the cells don't even reach the brain.
No.
So we are putting cells directly in the spinal fluid so it reaches the brain directly, whereas this is a via way. So if I had to broadly compare the two, one is your child's own cells,
Yes.
which the body accepts more easily because it's your own. The second is from donor cells from outside. We don't know where they've been taken from, who's the donor, which hospital, nothing. We know nothing about that.
No.
They've just been collected. So self versus outside. Two, no preservatives natural versus preservatives, and they are cryo, they are frozen at several minus degrees. So would you like to give your child fresh food or frozen food?
Of course,
You
the
know?
fresh food.
And would you like to give homemade food or processed food?
Homemade, of
So
course,
that is the
yeah.
broad difference between the two. And
Yes.
second, we are putting the autologous, you can put it directly where it is needed. And the processed, you can't put it, you have to put it indirectly.
Yes.
Now, umbilical cord cells are good for several other things. For example, in COVID, we used umbilical cord cells to treat COVID. We did a clinical trial, we got a paper published. Why? Because we wanted it in the lungs. COVID affects the lungs. So we used it intravenously and we got very good results in COVID. We are not averse to it, we just believe that it is not useful for brain or neurodevelopmental disorders.
It makes totally sense.
Yes.
It does actually. Thank you so much. And what is your medicational and education?
My basic expertise in regenerative medicine. I'm a medical doctor
Yeah.
with an MBBS and an MD in medical microbiology, and then I did research on developmental neurobiology using stem cell as a tool. So that is my in one of the most premier institute in India known as Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. With a medical or clinical background and in research, then my interest in brain development and using cells to repair the brain and spine started, and then I started looking for a mentor and I found Dr. Sharma. And last 15 years we have been working together under his guidance, and that's how my journey started. And last 15 years Neurogen has grown, treating children from all different places, adults and children with incurable neurological disorder.
Wow. That is so great. So you have 15 and you have 30 years of experience. I actually talked to stem cell specialists before I found you. I contacted my friend who is a doctor, and I said, they are taking stem cells from a healthy child and put it into my child. What are you, do you recommend it? And she said, they do it actually to children who have cancer. But they do it under observation from a doctor, and they make sure that the immune system is under control. So if they are not doing that, can result in autoimmune diseases like cancer. So I knew right away, okay, this is not an option I'm going to use. Is it finished now? There is no other option. I was just about to give up, then I have to see if there is any other, and I found you, so I'm lucky one. Before I came here, as I told you, I did a background search. I found that you are the only one who have made an article in the doctors' database. In Denmark, they have their own, the doctors have their own database, knowledge database. There are only articles that are proven scientifically. So you have already 3 articles that is approved by the scientific faculty. And I'm going to make sure that there is a link to this scientific research that you have done, 3 of them, and make sure there is a link to that in my homepage. The first one was in 2012, where you have 71 children with incurable diseases, such as muscular dystrophy and injury to the brain and spine. And the other one in 2030, with 32 patients with autism. And you have also in 2020 with 254 patients. And all the results are so great, they're so promising. And still they don't approve your treatment in the developed country. What kind of explanation did they give to you when they say this is not going to help? Because that's exactly what they did to us. You go in the Danish pages and you read about this stem cell specialist, forgotten their names, but they say this treatment, when you take stem cells from the child and put it back into the child, it doesn't work. I don't believe it works, they say. So I say, okay, you believe can be, please put it aside and be scientific. But what kind of explanation do you get when they say, no, this doesn't work? Because it works. It works. We have seen it with our own eyes. So I have met so many parents who have told me that they come for treatment, and most of them see improvement right away. Some of them come for second, third, fourth, and then they see improvement. So it works. We know that for sure. What are their excuses?
There are multiple reasons for that. The first thing we have to understand is, historically, all medical inventions, discoveries and progress came from the Western world.
Yeah.
It came from North America, from Europe. That is where it came. So it's historically believed anything new has to come from the West. Cell and stem cell therapy or regenerative medicine is something which evolved in the East. So India, Japan, Korea and China, we are the 4 leaders in this field.
Yes.
So it's a science and technology that develop in the East. People have difficulty accepting that something which the West did not discover has been discovered from the East.
Yes.
It's in the head. The results we have, if our papers, if they had been published from Harvard, Oxford or Stanford, right now the whole world would be accepting it.
Exactly.
Right? So that is the first thing. Second, most medical advances are actually made by the pharmaceutical industry. They come up with the new drugs, they come up with most advances come from there.
Exactly.
And the pharmaceutical, they also sort of indirectly from the back end manage what happens in the medical world. Everybody knows that what happens in the field of medicine is indirectly, sometimes directly controlled by the pharma industry. We saw in COVID what happened. Who are the people who made the maximum money in COVID? The guys who make the vaccines. Okay.
Of course.
Now the pharma industry is not supportive of what we do.
Of course not.
They don't say it openly. But the fact is, at the back end, they feel threatened. I've had people from the pharma industry tell me that, Dr. Sharma, you are an existential threat to us. And when I asked what that means, they said, if you make everybody okay, who will take our medicines? The pharma industry does not encourage or promote. In fact, I remember Dr. Nandini had been invited for a lecture in one of the conferences. The organizer was a friend of hers. He invited her to take a lecture on stem cells for autism. And then he had to withdraw the invitation because the company that was sponsoring the conference threatened to withdraw the sponsorship if there was a lecture on stem cells. Can you imagine that?
Yes, that's crazy.
So, this actually happened. This is real. He was apologetic, but he had to request her to not speak. This happens all the time. So this is back end. It's not on the face. They will never on the face oppose it because they feel that there is a threat to them, to their products, because they manufacture drugs. And when our patients get better, what happens? Our patients stop taking drugs. So then they are the ones who are going to suffer. The third thing is in this field, which is dominated by rehabilitation centers, pediatric experts in neurology, pediatric neurologists. Now they have a sort of, their economy, so to say, is based on these children never getting better. So if your child never speaks, you will keep taking speech therapy your whole life.
Yes.
You will keep taking occupational therapy your whole life. You will keep visiting your pediatric neurologist your whole life. That's where they make their money from. Once your child gets better, you stop taking therapy. You stop going to a pediatric neurologist. So they are the ones who are likely to lose economically.
Yes.
So there is a subtle back end, this thing to not recommend it. They actually oppose it.
Yes.
When they go, they start shouting at patients. But here's something very interesting.
Yeah.
Almost every doctor who has a child with autism comes to us for treatment.
Yes, I actually
Doctors
saw.
come for treatment.
Yes, I have
Now
actually.
here, this is strange that when a doctor has a thing themselves, then they will come to us. However, and we've actually had doctors. There was a neurologist who been opposed to stem cell, and then a son of his cousin actually had autism, and he sent the patient. He told the patient, go and meet Dr. Sharma, but don't tell Dr. Sharma I sent you. Okay, you are telling patients don't take it, and you're asking your relatives to go. What does it mean? It means you know it works, but you will not recommend it because it's going to affect you economically.
Exactly.
And after some time, what happens is a herd mentality sets in. It's a herd.
Yes.
They are not thinking intelligently.
No.
They are not thinking with discrimination. They are just a herd where each one just keeps on making the other person's loud noises. So I say something negative, you say something negative. When we all three sit, We all make so much noise. Even if they believe and want to, they can't. You badmouthed the treatment so much. With what face can you,
Exactly.
But there are changes. There was this child with cerebral palsy who was completely wheelchair bound, could not stand, could not sit. Child was from Kenya and they came to India, they took the treatment and this child improved so much. Recently, the mother sent me a video that the child actually ran a race.
Wow.
And, he didn't win, but he completed the race. So the doctor treating him was one of our most, vocal critics. After seeing the improvement, the doctor actually told the parents, I'm sorry, please let Dr. Sharma know, I am sorry, I was wrong. And he actually took my contact number and reached out to apologize. I've been wrong all these years.
Yes.
Because he saw visible improvements.
Exactly.
Right. So what we have learned, what we do is we have stopped, when people criticize us, we stop trying to respond negative to negative. Okay. What we do is let our results speak. The principal of the school said in 30 years, he has never been able to send a child from a special school to a normal school, and she's the first in 30 years.
She's the first, yes.
That speaks for itself.
Yes.
We have to let our results speak. We have to let our children's improvement speak.
Yes.
So when people criticize us, we have stopped responding. We don't counter their negativity because it just results in more noise.
Exactly.
We work quietly. What makes us go on is this. When we see these improvements, when you come and tell us about the improvements in your child, that is what makes us continue doing our work. There is a strong background, but it's what I now it's become a herd.
Yes.
People are not thinking, they're just thinking as a herd. And when you think as a herd, then you're not using your own intelligence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The school director tried to, when I was going for the first shot, he tried to stop me from coming to India. He said, oh, nobody knows about stem cell therapy. You don't go, and, he tried to stop me in every way. I had to tell him, no, we're not going to do stem cell therapy. We're just going for speech therapy. I couldn't make him understand that I have investigated this, made a research on this for 1 year. I've contacted so many doctors, so many stem cell specialists. This was not just something I found out, okay, let's do it. I have really invested time in this, and he just wants to stop me from going just because he doesn't believe in stem cell therapy. And this believing thing, I am so against. I want some results. I want to see with my own eyes. I want some scientific research. I want something logical, So I did it anyway, and we came back. Then I told him, the results shows that she is ready, and I could feel as a mother, for first time, I could feel she's ready to go for a normal class. And he went to her class and he looked at her, he was agreeing with me. So we had a meeting with other teachers who came, and we were talking about Maya getting into a normal class school, and he said to me, to begin with, he said, 30 years I have looked for a child in special school, 30 years, and I haven't found anyone from the special school who was ready to go to a normal school. This was something new for him. School teacher, they asked about, how is Maya? And he said, oh, she's so sweet. She's the sweetest. She tries to help everybody. That is something I was so excited about as a mother, that she's actually trying to help the other children.
Wow.
Because she can feel like, okay, they cannot read, and she was trying somehow to help them to be able to do the things that she couldn't do before, and now she can. Now we're going to start normal school when we come back.
Wow.
Tell us
Yes.
more.
Yes.
Tell us more. Tell us about her improvements.
Improvements are great. She had this not being able to dress, was very, very difficult for her. If I put her through, especially screen, was like no go. If she saw something in the screen for just 3 or 4 minutes a day, she will become violent and hits herself and hits everybody around her. Really violent. Actually, when she was in kindergarten, one of her caretakers told me, I'm so scared of leaving her alone because I'm so scared of she's going to bang her head into the beton floor and she's going to get scratches. And so actually once she did, so I had to go to the doctor and get stitches. So it was very, very bad, and she doesn't do it anymore. She have seen some movies, and this is something new.
She's completely stopped hitting herself.
Yes, she does. No hitting at all. Before stem cell therapy, if you go to the playground, other children may be interested in her, but she will just turn away. Now she actually look for them and she making social interaction with them and having friends, which is so nice as a mother. Always running around with her in the playground, playing with her because I was the only one she wants to play with. And now she just goes into the playground and finds some children and just play with them, and she's having so much fun. So much fun. It's, oh my God, as a mother, it's great to see. And also her ability to read the facial expression. Here for a couple of months ago, I think 1 month ago, she was just sitting in front of me. Why do you look so sad?
Oh, she said that?
Yeah. Are you angry? I said, no, I'm not. I'm just tired. But I thought you were angry at me. What did I do? I said, no, I'm just so tired, please. And also the way she reacts to that, okay, my mother is tired, let me give her some space. Yeah. So she just goes and read her books so I can have some space. That she can think. And that is beautiful, I think. When she can actually figure out what to do. Okay, my mother is tired, let me give her some space. So many things has improved.
You said reading. You told me about
Reading, yes. We were trying to teach her to read. Nothing. She was just not interested. And after the stem cell therapy, she's just developed so much in that ground. She's reading so great. It's actually incredible. Also, her ability to do mathematic calculations, she's just incredibly genius, you know. When you give, what is 18 plus 18? She was just, bring.
Oh, really?
Mental arithmetic.
Yes,
So this wasn't
she's
there
very
before.
good. No, it was
Oh, wow.
not like that. Yes,
Tell us more about this.
just like she's imagining, she can see. And sometimes I give her some tools. I say, what is 21 plus 21? And she says like this. At times she doesn't have it. At times she's okay, that makes 22.
You're calculating.
Yeah, I'm calculating. But she can just like, bing, there it is, you know. So she's.
So is this only about additions, or you think multiplications and divisions also?
Multiplications, we are working on it, is something new for her. But additions and when you
subtractions.
yes, she can do greatly.
And
greatly.
reading is what level? Because I saw her reading comic books.
Yes, she's reading comic books. So she's only 8 years old, second grade. She has just started. Teacher told us that you have to teach her how to read. And in the beginning, as I told you, it was difficult. But now she just sit down and read, like you can see, she's just sitting over there and reading comics.
She was reading and she was laughing at those comics.
Yes.
I remember when So what was her reading level before the treatment?
I think when we started, it was like Lex, we call it Lex 1.
One word, two or three letters.
Two words like abo, two words.
Small sentences.
Exactly.
Only.
Now it's like 4 or 5. She can read.
syllables.
Yeah, she can just she can read.
Oh.
So
she can put it together and read by herself.
she
like
can
phonetic.
exactly, and she understands.
Oh,
so
amazing.
yeah, it is
She
very
reads
amazing.
and she understands the
yes,
meaning also.
of course she does,
Amazing.
and she writes so well.
She's writing also.
Yes, she's
How was her
very good at
writing
it. It was terrible. But now, actually, I saw her. Was it before we came? She was writing all the alphabets, but not the small one. And now she can.
She can.
Oh, such a beautiful writing. You have to see it. Yes, I was so impressed. Wow, this is your writing. What happened? I can totally read what you're writing.
She's actually improved in all the areas that one would
I
want,
was
isn't it?
she has.
Speech?
Yeah. Speech is actually become much more better.
Much better?
Yes, she has always been good at it because I have practiced speech with her so much. When she went to the kindergarten and she came home, it was very important for me to communicate with her. I want to know what she has done. I want her to have the ability to contemplate on what has happened. So I was called caretakers and what have you done today? And when she came home and she doesn't want to talk about it, I said, I know you have been doing this and that. And she began to talk to me about it. So in the beginning, it was new for her. Now it's just like, that's what she does. You know, she comes home and explains everything about what she has done. So speech was already good, but now I can feel like she has a larger vocabulary. Yeah, so she has actually, the way she talks is also much more intelligent and much more fantasy, you can say.
Abstract.
Yeah, yes, so it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Can she make stories?
A lot. Oh my God. She wakes up every morning and she has always a story to tell. And I wake up in the morning, I'm tired, and my husband is always ready. He always listen, he always follow her, and you know, she take care of herself. And in the morning, she can't do all of the things for herself, taking clothes off, and we say, okay, it's about around 50 degrees today, you have to wear this and that, and she just goes and pick whatever she wants. It must be with short and one with long and some trousers, and she finds out what to wear. Yeah. Sensory. Give me some examples.
No, I'm asking.
Does she have any sensory issues? Does she have like a sensitivity to sound?
She had, but that is all right.
It is gone.
Yes, it is.
What about food, eating?
It has never been a problem for her.
Okay.
No, but the sensory issues she had with loud noises, she could just be like, ah. No, I am so impressed about that, because we live in the forest and we have almost no sound, and suddenly a tractor or something with a large car comes by and she was like, ah, and now she
doesn't get distressed.
Yes, she doesn't
get distressed.
So that's a great thing.
Amazing.
You know, it has made our life so much better. We are laughing more, we have much more to give, because she's not stressed. We don't have to always take care of her, because she can do so much more than she did. So
you can let her go a little bit, give her more freedom.
That was one of the best things as a mother, to be able to let go, because I have been so protective of everything. You know, just let her go to the playground, she can play, go whatever, and she can do it, you know.
Going to the market, going to the
no
shop.
problem. She goes to gymnastics, upgraded her level in gymnastics, so horse riding, and she can do all of this. I'm so happy.
What does your husband have to say about it?
Well, my husband said, to begin with, when we came here, he said to me, oh, I don't think it's going to work. I said, just follow me. And when we took the first stem cell therapy, he couldn't believe it. We could see the changes right away. Some people don't, some do. We could see it right away. It was unbelievable for him. Since then, he is become just
believer.
Like a believer, and also you are his hero. So he is very, very pleased with all the results.
So
and he's very, very pleased, and so am I. And I am so lucky to be able to have found you. And I was sitting and praying, please send the solutions, please send the treatment. And you were there. And I just want to thank you for devoting your life.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to us.
It truly, you have saved a lot of children, and my daughter included. And I hope truly to be able to reach out to people in Denmark, maybe also in Scandinavia, make sure they know this opportunity exists, this treatment exists, because they believe so much in the health department. So they don't want to try anything new, they're scared. But we have to do something. We have to. As parents, we have to gather and make sure that the scientific world thinks logically instead of thinking in form of nationality or stuff like that. This is our children.
I completely agree with you, and you know, I really want to thank you, because what this will do is it will give thousands, if not more, parents hope. See, the one thing that is very important in life is to have hope. You know, very often parents with children with special needs, it's like you're in a dark tunnel and there's no light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter whether after seeing this, you know, parents take stem cells, don't take stem cells, take any other treatment. It is that they get hope.
Yes.
And once you get hope, then you're willing to go on.
Yeah.
You're willing to keep moving ahead. You keep willing to look. So I really want to thank you for doing this, you know, creating this awareness, because it gives parents hope. The Western world is not completely into this, but it is very, very important. If you notice when you come here, you know, one of the first things we do is we do tests, we do scans of the brain, and we show you which parts are not working. Now imagine in your countries, they're not even doing the brain scans.
No.
It's like having a fracture of the leg and not taking an X-ray. Exactly. Would that make sense? It's like having appendicitis or an ovarian cyst and not doing an ultrasound. So forget the treatment. They are not even looking into the brain.
No.
So one of the things that we do first, and that is very important, is to show you, you know what? Our child is perfectly normal in every way. Only this part of the brain is damaged. Now, when you see that, although it is upsetting for some parents to see that, but in some ways it clears things. Now you know why your child can't. Now you know why your child can't speak, because that part of the brain is not working.
Yes.
Also, after a treatment, when you come after 6 months, we do a scan again, and you see that those parts have improved. it again gives you objective evidence
Exactly.
that the brain is now recovering.
Yes. Will you please explain this picture of Maya's brain? This is before and this is after.
Yes.
And I have seen so many improvements. This is crazy. Like I see all of these lights and it's just like mind blowing for me.
Right.
And I would really like to have an explanation on that.
Sure. So this is the PET scan before the treatment, where we saw that certain parts of the brain were functioning less. Mainly this is the thalamus, which is the area for processing of information. So motor and sensory processing. So this was functioning less. So was this part, that is the medial temporal, that is for language and emotions and cognition and comprehension and learning.
Yes.
So those were two major areas which were functioning less, and we find that after the treatment in 6 months, you can visibly see that before and after the green indicates good functioning. Here you can see the green is more.
Yes.
That means she is able to process information better. That the brain, the inputs are coming in, but they are getting processed. So she knows what to do with that information, and she is able to express it, and that the output is also good. So this is the part of the brain which is doing the output and which is functioning better now.
That was just like I told you. She looked at my face and
Yes.
why are you so sad?
Yes, so
exactly.
this is the part for emotions and emotional social interaction. So she likes to go and meet people now. She understands. She's reading better.
Yes.
She's learning better. So the visual memory has improved. So if you see here the occipital region, you can see it is working, but here you can see it's working more.
Yes.
So the yellow part is more here. So she's a visual learner already, but now she's learning things more by looking at things.
Exactly.
So that's why the mental arithmetics and the reading has improved.
Yes.
So visual learners. So
Yes.
that's very important. So overall, if you see as compared to here, the green and yellow is more here.
Yes.
So overall, the brain is just functioning more and better, qualitatively and quantitatively. So that all correlates with all the improvements that you just mentioned.
Yes, it does actually.
We have, of course, you've come from Denmark. We've treated patients from over 100 countries, 103 countries, by the way.
Oh, great.
From all over the world, patients are coming here, 103 countries.
Yes.
And there's a reason why they're coming, of course, because their children are improving. There's no reason to come otherwise. Also, you mentioned 3 of our papers, but I'd just like you to know that we have a total of, again, over 100 papers. We have 108 scientific papers in different conditions. Because apart from autism, we are also treating cerebral palsy, intellectual disability, Down syndrome. Then we are treating muscular dystrophy. That's a condition where very often these boys, they don't survive beyond their 20s, and we have saved almost 3,000 lives. In adults, we can treat spinal cord injury, brain stroke, motor neuron disease. So there are a lot of conditions for which earlier there was no hope. There was nothing, no solution available, which we are now treating, and all our publications, all our scientific books actually are showing this.
Yeah.
The real beauty of this treatment is the following. One, it's very simple. There is no surgery, there's no cutting, there are no stitches. As you know, we just put a needle into the bone, take out the bone marrow, separate the cells and inject it through a needle. So the whole treatment has only 2 needle pricks.
Exactly.
It's very, very safe. You've seen for yourself.
Yes.
There are no adverse events or side effects or
Nothing.
nothing that can happen.
No.
We have
at all.
so far treated, now we have treated close to 15,000 patients.
Yeah.
15,000 patients over the last 15 years. And we've not had any major adverse events, side events that, somebody's deteriorated or become worse. So it's a very simple treatment, just 2 needle pricks. It's a very safe treatment.
It is.
And you're definitely getting results, as you have seen.
Yes.
The only thing is the results come slowly.
Yes.
They come over weeks and months. You don't get results instantly.
No.
So a simple treatment which is safe and which has definite, not only clinical results, you are seeing, you're seeing the improvements yourself, but also objective improvements on the scans. And the most important thing, like you said, all this is published scientifically.
Exactly.
And in what are called peer-reviewed journals. I want to thank you for taking the trouble to send this message out to all the parents. And this is a message of hope.
It is.
Okay, that's all we want to do. Give them hope.
Yes.
And tell them, do not give up. Because if we as parents give up, there's nobody for a child.
No.
Who's going to look after a child if we give up hope? And a lot of parents really give up hope. And then there is nothing else that can be done.
Yes.
Once you know something is possible, then you get more aggressive with the therapy. You get aggressive with the rehabilitation. You get aggressive. You take new treatments like oxygen therapy, hyperbaric, ozone. There are so many other things that we can do apart from cell and stem cell therapy. So once that comes, then a difference starts. And also, it just may be that your message will trigger maybe a mini revolution in your own country.
Yes.
Where other doctors will listen, other parents will listen, and finally, politicians have to listen to people. Okay?
Exactly.
So if there are enough of you who say, hey, you know what, I had to travel all the way to India to do this, I want this available in our country,
Yes.
the government will have to listen.
Yes,
Okay?
they will. They
So
will have to. Yeah.
it takes, there's a Chinese saying, the march of a million miles begins with one step, the first
Yes.
step. This is just your first step for Denmark.
It is. It
And I
is.
hope, we're waiting for the day when this treatment is available to every child
Yes.
in the country.
Yes, that's beautiful. You said that. And also, as you said, there is no side effects. Yesterday she had this treatment. Today she's sitting
She's
over
sitting
there.
right here.
Yes, there is nothing. She was laughing, having fun, playing today. So there is no side effects. She is totally as she's used to be. And also, you're right about the improvement come gradually. You don't see it right away, but you see the improvement.
You see it, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, you see it.
So it's just about being patient. And what I want to do is I want the parents to gather
Yes, absolutely.
in apps. We want to gather them so that they can use each other to support each other.
Absolutely.
Yes, morally and intellectually. How to support each other so that we can make government and doctors to see we have something to say too. They're not the only one making this shot. They can listen to us too. So that is what I want. So
Especially with the numbers of autism increasing so much.
Exactly. And some people say, this is only because now we have the diagnosis. We didn't have them back then. But if
that is
you,
not true.
that's
That
not
is
true, because if you
that may be
take us,
partially true, but the incidence has gone up so much.
it has.
As per US CDC, 1 out of 36 children has autism today. 1 out of 36. It was 1 out of 166 20 years ago. The incidence has really gone up.
It has. And if you take a school teacher from 10 years or 20 years ago and you ask, okay, you had a child who was stressed and hitting her and himself and had all these difficulties, and you just turn your back. They didn't. It's actually happening. Autism is increasing. Nobody turned their back at children who was stressed, hitting themselves, having social issues and so on. But now they can see there are more and more children having these issues, and they getting the right treatment, almost the right treatment in our country. There are special schools and therapies and so on, but no definite treatment. No definite treatment. So these children grow up and having a lot of issues. They didn't get the right treatment to begin with when they were a child. So they grow up and have a lot of issues. They cannot take the education they want. They cannot take the job they want. They cannot build a family. If they're too much stress, they cannot handle it. So that is something I really hope we can change.
What is your message?
As parents, we have to trust our own parent instinct.
Absolutely.
And make sure that we move forward and not rely so much on the doctors and the scientific people who says no. If you know as a parent and you can see the scientific papers there and it all says it works, then you have to move from there instead of looking at all the naysayers you say. So that is actually my motivation. That is what I want. As a parents, we have to support each other and find a solution, because we're getting no support from the doctors. They just told me, there's nothing to do. But I knew within myself, this is not true.
I just want to acknowledge you, and I want to acknowledge all parents,
Yeah.
because we always say that autism or CP doesn't just affect the child.
No.
It affects the whole family.
Oh, yeah.
The whole family gets affected. You just cannot live a life like other families live. Seeing one day at a time, just one day, is so difficult and challenging, because
Yes.
there are so many issues that nobody really understands. Okay? In the middle of all of this, when you're told nothing can be done, that can be so completely emotionally shattering.
It is.
So just this message that something can be done to help our children, that is the
Something
one that
can
gives
be
you-
done. Thank you so much for that. Something can be done.
Yeah.
Thank you
you.
so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.